You know, we drive on them every single day, but have you ever really stopped to think about what goes into our roads? Well, it turns out the very infrastructure that connects us all could be creating a massive environmental problem. Today, we're diving into some new research out of Thailand that uncovers this hidden cost and, more importantly, lays out a plan to pave a much greener path forward.
I mean, that's a pretty startling question, right? But it's a critical one. We think of new roads as the lifeblood of a growing economy, but every new mile that gets paved might have a hidden side effect, one that directly impacts the air we all breathe, and ultimately, our health.
So, why this urgent push for green roads? Well, first, we've got to get a handle on the sheer scale of the pollution problem that traditional road construction is creating.
As Thailand's economy booms, so does its construction industry, and a huge part of that is government-led road projects. But all this progress comes at a price. Every single step of building a road, from breaking ground to the final paving, releases a ton of pollutants into the atmosphere.
You know, the biggest threat is actually invisible. We hear these terms in the news all the time, PM 2.5 and PM 10. But what are they really? They're these microscopic dust particles from construction that are so incredibly fine they can bypass our body's natural defenses, getting deep into our lungs and even into our bloodstream. And that's where the serious long-term health risks really start.
So where is all this stuff coming from? Well, you've got the obvious sources, right? The exhaust pouring out of heavy machinery and those huge clouds of dust from all the digging. But then you have to think about the constant stream of trucks hauling materials back and forth. And here's the real kicker. The traffic jams caused by the construction itself create this whole second wave of pollution from all the idling cars. It's a chain reaction.
Okay, so that's the problem. How do we fix it? Well, the proposed solution is a concept called green road construction. And let me tell you, this isn't just some buzzword. It's a complete rethink of how we build from the ground up.
The main idea here is to look at the entire life cycle of a road. This isn't just about one simple fix, like inventing a new type of asphalt. No, it's a fundamental shift. It's about considering the environmental impact from the moment the blueprints are drawn up all the way to its maintenance decades down the line.
And this whole process breaks down into 4 key stages. It all starts with sustainable planning and design before a single shovel even hits the dirt. Then, it moves to using eco-friendly materials during the actual construction. After that, once the road is open, you have to make sure it's being used and operated efficiently. And finally, even the maintenance work has to be done responsibly. Each step is designed to close the loop on waste and pollution.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but what makes it a real possibility in Thailand right now? Well, as it turns out, there are several powerful forces already pushing this change forward.
The big opportunity here comes from 3 different directions all hitting at the same time. You've got top-down government policy creating the official framework, you've got bottom-up public demand for a cleaner environment, and then you have these incredible new technologies that are actually making it all possible. It's like a perfect storm for positive change.
Let's break that down a bit. On the political front, Thailand has a national economic model they call Biocircular Green, or BCG, which officially supports exactly these kinds of sustainable projects. At the very same time, socially, the public is just way more aware of pollution and is starting to demand cleaner solutions from its leaders.
And then there's the tech. I mean, we're seeing some amazing innovations, like creating super durable asphalt out of recycled plastics, or even natural rubber. This stuff isn't science fiction anymore. These are real, tangible alternatives that can be used right now to replace older, dirtier methods.
But look, having good ideas and some positive momentum just isn't enough. There are still some major roadblocks standing in the way of making this a widespread reality. And this slide really gets to the heart of the problem. There's this huge gap between the policy on paper and the reality on the ground. So Thailand has these supportive national laws, which is a fantastic start. But without consistent implementation and, crucially, strict enforcement, even the best policy in the world is just, well, it's just paper.
Beyond policy, you've got these really practical hurdles. First up, money. Green materials can have higher upfront costs. Then there's the people problem. There's a serious shortage of workers with the right skills for this kind of work. And finally, you have the market itself, where the intense pressure to just accept the lowest cost bid often shoves sustainability right out of the picture.
Okay, so knowing the opportunities and all the challenges, where do we go from here? The final piece of the puzzle is this integrated roadmap, which is designed to turn these green road goals into an actual reality.
The solution they propose is a 5-point plan. It all starts with being proactive about policy, making sure green principles are baked in right from the very beginning. Then it's about actively promoting innovation and getting the government and private industry to actually cooperate. And finally, it demands constant monitoring to see what's working and a clear strategy to tackle the big challenges like budgets and old regulations.
And this is why this matters so much. Adopting green road construction isn't just some nice environmental project. It's actually a powerful economic strategy. It can improve public health, it helps meet national goals, and it could position Thailand as a real leader in sustainable development.
Ultimately, what this research does is give us a clear and actionable path forward. The technology is here, the policies are being written, and public support is growing. So the final question really isn't about how to do it, but about the will to do it. Can all the different players, government, industry, the public, come together with enough commitment to turn this roadmap into the actual roads of tomorrow? That's the real challenge that lies ahead.